What's up, friends? Welcome to the outdoor version of the Sunday Short. You're going to see a lot more outdoor because the weather is finally legit. So we're going to have the conversations out here. I had a question the other day. First of all, I have questions all the time that come through, but this question was a good question, okay? And I don't think I've ever really talked about it. So I was like, let's just talk about it. So I was asked the other day, someone said, how did you get started as a public speaker? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. So let's back it up for a second. So I was a school counselor for many years. That's what I did for work. I went into the field of counseling and psychology because of my own mental health struggles as a teenager. And I knew that I wanted to help teenagers with my message on, just with their mental health and feel supported and like seen and just with things that I felt like I didn't have at the time, right? So I loved working one-on-one with people. I loved all of that. I didn't really have any experience as a speaker necessarily, but the wind is like really taking my hair, so I know that's kind of annoying, but I do apologize in advance, but here we are. So, but we want to be outside, right? Compromises. So it was 2018, I was sitting in my office at Jameson School in Peoria, Illinois, and I was thinking to myself, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to reach more students at one time, more teenagers, and be able to share my story, because as a licensed mental health professional, you can't talk about your own mental health struggles or those struggles of those in your immediate circle. It's considered unethical. So I knew I wanted to, though, and I just remember sitting there and I saw a student walk by my office. I have a vision of that. Like they're just like walking by, and I looked down at my laptop and I literally Googled how to be a public speaker. And the first thing that popped up was the Speaker Lab. The podcast is actually the first thing that popped up, a link to the podcast. And I think that it popped up because there was an episode at the time that was titled like how to be a public speaker or something like that. So that popped up. And then, so I dove into the podcast. I bought the book off Amazon, and I took a webinar with Grant at the time, and then enrolled in the program. And that's the truth of how that happened. And so they said, did you have any prior experience, keynote speaking? And the answer is just no. I do remember that there were times throughout my life when I was in school and I had projects and things, and I always wanted to be the first one to present. And so I always had this like draw towards being in front of people and speaking. And I remember seeing speakers when I was in school. So I knew it was a thing. I just didn't know that people actually did it for a living. And even when I found the Speaker Lab, I wasn't sure that I would ever make it work or happen, right? And I think that everybody struggles with that level of like, is it really going to work for me? Or is this something I should step into? Or that imposter syndrome, right? Which is something we really work heavily on here at the Speaker Lab, is mindset. And I appreciate that, because it's just strange that it's amazing. It's just like anything, right? It's a simple process. There's this simple systematic process that you just work and plug yourself into. And I don't want it to sound easy, but it is simple, right? And I think that once I found the system, and somebody, especially Grant, since he developed this process, right? Because it's the process he used to get booked and paid consistently, and I saw other people were doing it. I don't know how you are, but I know how I am, and I like to check boxes. I like to, if someone's like, these are the steps to do it, and here's the outcome, then I'm going to do the steps to get the outcome, right? Like I'm not someone that will do it halfway or believe they have a better way. If someone has done it and has the results that I desire to achieve, then I'm going to plug myself into it and do it. I'm going to listen to what people have done before me, right? I'm going to learn from people who've done the things that I want to do, which is one of the best things I love about being here at the Speaker Lab as a resident speaker now, is I get to work alongside people who are professionally speaking within our organization, but then also I've been out in the trail for a while, and I've met so many amazing humans. And if y'all have been on our podcast at all and have listened to the episodes that I've done with some amazing people, these are people I've met because I've been out in the world of speaking. And yeah, it's no secret also that my husband was very much like, what is going on when I signed up for the speaker lab. But that's because we didn't know. But all I knew is that Grant said he's done this. This is the process he developed. I'm going to trust that process. And I leaned in. So that answers the question of how did I get started as a speaker. I'm not sure I've ever really talked about that on the Sunday Shorts too much, but I just wanted to give a little more detailed insight into my story and what exactly I do. So you know who's talking to you, right? You got to know who's talking to you. And I think that's really important. So that's it for this Sunday Short, friends. This is an extra short little tidbit episode, a little more personal. And so yeah, I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye.